Morning everyone. Today we will discuss Tesla's potential business expansion into Indonesia and how multinational corporations balance profitability, political risk, and social responsibility. We will examine how opportunities, challenges, and risk mitigation strategies through several international business frameworks.
The business gap identified is Tesla's need to secure a stable supply of battery materials while also reducing production costs and expanding its presence in Southeast Asia. Indonesia possesses the world's largest nickel services, which are essential for electric vehicle batteries. This creates a significant opportunity for Tesla to establish manufacturing facilities and strengthen its supply chain. However, environmental concerns, regulatory changes, and community impacts create risks that requires effective management.
Now we are going to discuss about Tesla's value chain in Indonesia. And Tesla's value chain in Indonesia is quite simple. It includes first inbound logistics, which Tesla will need to obtain nickel and battery materials from local suppliers. Next is we have the operations, which Tesla will operate battery processing and potential vehicle assembly facilities in Indonesia. Next is we have the outbound logistics, in which the distribution of batteries and electric vehicles to regional markets such as ASEAN or APAC, for example. And then we have the marketing and sales, in which Tesla will, of course, in its demand to promotion of sustainable transportation solutions for its EV cars and substitute to the current trend of fossil fuel-based cars. And then, of course, last but not least is the service. After sales support and charging infrastructure development, Tesla will definitely need a good service in its operational, especially in Indonesia. Locating part of the value chain in Indonesia lowers production costs and improves access to raw materials for Tesla to improve its business in Indonesia, and of course in gaining a very much easier access to Indonesia's value chain.
Now we are going to use the Porter's 5 forces to analyze Tesla's expansion to the Indonesian market. The first is threat of new entrants. The level in Indonesia is moderate. Therefore, high capital investments creates barriers. Second is bargaining power of suppliers. In Indonesia, it is pretty high because nickel suppliers have significant influence here. Third is bargaining power of buyers, which is moderate. Consumers have growing alternatives and is also sophisticated. The fourth is threat of substitutes, which is moderate. Hybrid vehicles and public transportation remains as alternatives or substitutes in this case. And last is industry rivalry. Here is pretty high. Tesla competes with BYD, Hyundai, and other EV manufacturers.
Tesla's home office maintains a strategic authority over technology, branding, and global investment directions. And as for the host countries, which is Indonesia's government, they regulate environmental standards, labor laws, taxation, and foreign investment requirements. As successful expansions like this requires cooperation between Tesla headquarters and the Indonesian government agencies.
Now we are going to talk about Tesla's regional developments and regional assets during its expansion to the Indonesian market. Its regional assets are large nickel reserves, growing consumer market, strategic Southeast Asian location, as well as expanding infrastructure. Meanwhile, its regional development, Tesla's investment may contribute to job creation, technology transfer, skills development, economic growth. However, development must be balanced with environmental protection and community welfare. Next, we are going to analyze Tesla's expansion into the Indonesian market using Porter's diamond theory. First condition is factor conditions. It is undeniable that Indonesia has abundant natural resources and labor availability, making it fitting for Tesla to enter the market. Second is demand condition. Growing domestic demand for electric vehicles or EVs also supports the argument that Tesla should enter the Indonesian market. Third is related and supporting industries such as mining, logistics, energy, as well as manufacturing sectors that may support Tesla's expansion to Indonesia. And the fourth one is firm strategy, structure, and rivalry. Competition encourages innovation and efficiency. And in Indonesia, Tesla competes with BYD, Hyundai, and other EV manufacturers. Additionally, the government policies also support EV adoption, which improve competitiveness for Tesla.
And move on to the next thing, which is the business model canvas or BMC for Tesla in Indonesia. First is we're going to discuss about the key partners of Tesla here. Of course, Tesla is going to have a partnership with government agencies such as the state-owned enterprises or the Ministry of Investment. And then we have the mining companies, which are going to supply the raw material extractions to Tesla. And of course, last not least, will be the logistics providers, companies that are related to in trucks or cars or any kinds of vehicles that are contributing to the distribution of Tesla here in Indonesia. Next is the key activities: battery production, vehicle manufacturing, research and development or R&D, are definitely the key activities that Tesla is going to do here in Indonesia, because these three key activities are going to contribute to the privatization of Tesla here in the Indonesian market. Next is the key resources, of course, like nickel supply, technology, workforce, facilities. Those are the things that are the resources needed by Tesla to make its operation of raw material extraction be profitable and sustainable in the Indonesian market. Next is the value proposition offered by Tesla in Indonesian market, which is the car is affordable, but yet it has another value proposition added, which is the sustainable electric vehicles that has much more benefits to the environment compared to the fossil fuel-based vehicles. The market that has shifted towards a more green transition will be able to get these value absorbed into the market. Next is the customer relationships between Tesla and the Indonesian customers. Digital support, service centers, charging network, those kind of services that will be able to offered from Tesla to the customers will build a positive relationship between Tesla and its customer here in Indonesian market. Next is the channels. Direct sales, online platforms, dealerships, are those kind of channels that Tesla will be able to deliver its privatization from the Indonesian market. Next is the customer segments. What type of customers that Tesla is aiming to get in the Indonesian market. Of course, it's environmentally conscious consumers, businesses, and government fleets. Of course, those kind of customers that seeks in Tesla's value proposition as very important in their life. Next is the cost structure. What kind of costs or fundings they need to have here? Of course, first is the manufacturing cost, the labor cost, the logistic cost, and of course, infrastructure investment they need to build here. As in exchange for the privatization in the Indonesian market, most type of government, including the Indonesian government, will demand a proposition in exchange of investments, so that Tesla can also contribute to the local economy and the local development. Next is the revenue streams, which is vehicle sales, battery sales, energy products, and software services. Those kind of revenue that Tesla will get from the Indonesian market if they open their businesses here in raw material extractions.
While investments create economic benefits, concerns remain regarding environmental degradation from mining, community displacement, labor rights and worker safety, as well as carbon emissions during production. This means that Companies must ensure responsible sourcing and transparent environmental practices.
Right now, we are going to explain about the risk mitigation strategies. Tesla in the Indonesia market can mitigate these kind of risks through first is the compliance with environmental regulations. Of course, not to actually really damage the environment and cause environmental risk, not only to Tesla's operational permits or even its continuation of its facilities, but also to the continuity of the surrounding environment and populations living. Because if Tesla did damage the environment, there will be no sustainability forward. Next is investment in renewable energy. These days, many countries shifted from fossil fuels to renewable energy. Tesla's investment in renewable energy can very much beneficial in Indonesia's transition from fossil fuel to renewable energy. Next will be the community engagement programs. Not just privatization is the aim of Tesla. Tesla is also demanded by the Indonesian government, of course, to do any kinds of community development. Its programs needed to develop its local human capital to increase the capabilities of local Indonesian workers, not to hire foreign workers just to came up inefficient, but also to improve the allocated human capital within the domestic market. Next is the worker safety initiatives. Tesla, of course, is not allowed to do labor exploitation, because if they do, they might lose their permits in exchange of losing their profits from the Indonesian market. Next is the partnership with local stakeholders. A healthy competition is a cooperation between a foreign investor and the local companies. By doing partnerships with local stakeholders, Tesla can access larger market access while also giving a much more significant contribution to the local development of local businesses. Next will be the transparent sustainability reporting. CSR, or corporate sustainability reporting, is a mandatory to be done by all kinds of companies that is operating anywhere else in the world, including Tesla. Tesla needs to be transparent in its reporting because it also relates on whether Tesla is going to be honest in its operational mechanism, whether it damages the environment or not. Because it is mainly very important to sustain our environment, but if the corporations did while lying on its CSR report, it will be very much damageable not only to its surrounding environment but also to its reputation.
A responsible multinational corporation should protect local ecosystems, support education and workforce development, create fair employment opportunities, and promote sustainable industrial practices. Economic growth should benefit both investors and local communities.
Tesla's expansion into Indonesia presents a significant business opportunities to access to resources, market growth, and regional development.
However, success depends on managing political, social, and environmental risk effectively.
Through strategic planning and social responsibility, multinational corporations can achieve sustainable growth while creating positive impacts for the society. That will be all from our group, and thank you for watching.